Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial about ratios. In this tutorial, we are going to discuss the ratios with decimals, ratios with fractions, ratios in different units, and applications of ratios. A ratio is a comparison of two or more numbers that indicates their sizes in relation to each other. There are several different ways to express a ratio. One of the most common is to write a ratio using a colon as a this to that comparison. Because ratios are simple division problems, they can also be written as fractions. A ratio should always be in its simplest or most reduced form, which means there shouldn't be any common factors for the numbers in a ratio. This can be done by finding the greatest common factor between the numbers and dividing them accordingly. With the ratio comparing 12 to 16, for example, you see that both 12 and 16 can be divided by 4. This simplifies your ratio into 3 to 4, or the quotients you get when you divide 12 and 16 by 4. Your ratio can now be written as 3 is to 4, 3 by 4 as a fraction, 3 to 4, and 0.75, which is a decimal. The values in a ratio should always be integers if possible. So if you look at this example 2.5 is to 3, 2.5 is a decimal number and 3 is an integer. So although it is a ratio which has a decimal number and an integer, the values of the ratio should always be in integers. So we times the values by 2. A ratio can be scaled up or down by multiplying or dividing the ratio numbers by the same value. This process is called scaling, and the value used for scaling is called the scale factor. The ratio 7 is to 10 is multiplied by 3. So it is scaled up to 21 is to 30. The value 3 which is used for scaling is called the scale factor. Write the following ratios using ratio notation in lowest terms. 5 km in 30 minutes. The ratio is 5 is to 30. 5 is the common factor for 5 and 30, so we divide 5 and 30 by 5, so the ratio can be written in its lowest terms, 1 is to 6. 4 cases for $500. The ratio 4 is to 500 can be divided by 4, which is the highest common factor, so the ratio with lowest terms is 1 is to 125. 5 cupcakes need 325 grams of flour. 5 is the highest common factor for 5 and 325. Dividing both the values by 5 gives us the ratio in lowest terms 1 is to 65. 130 millimeters of precipitation in 2 days. 2 is the highest common factor of 130 and 2. So dividing both the values by 2 would giving the ratio 65 is to 1 in its lowest terms. Ratios with decimals. Simplify the following ratios. 1.2 is to 4. As we have decimal numbers, according to the rules for ratios, the ratios can only be integers but not fractions or decimals. So the decimal value in this ratio has to be changed into an integer. So this can be done by multiplying both the values of the ratio by 5, which is 1.2 times 5 is to 4 times 5, that equals to 6 is to 20. Further simplification will make the ratio into its simplest form, that is 3 is to 10. 1.4 is to 1.6. So this set of values in decimals has to be converted into integers. So this is possible by multiplying both the values of the ratio by the same number, which make them into integers. So one such number is 5. So 1.4 times 5 is 7. 1.6 times 5 is 8. So the ratio with the lowest terms is 7 is to 8. Ratios with fractions. Simplify the following ratios. 2 by 5 is to 4. So the ratio with the fractional term has to be changed into an integer. So by multiplying both the terms by 5 would make a ratio with integer terms. So 2 over 5 times 5 is to 4 times 5 equals to 2 is to 20, which can be simplified to 1 is to 10. 2 over 3 is to 7 over 8. In this ratio, both the terms are fractions. So a common number by which both the fractions can be multiplied has to be found. So which can be found by multiplying 3 and 8 together, that is 24. By multiplying both the terms by 24, we get 2 times 8 is to 7 times 3. which equals to 16:21. And this ratio cannot be further simplified. Ratios in different units. Simplify the following ratios. 5 centimeter is to 30 kilometers. As both the terms are in two different units, they need to be converted to have the same unit. So it is efficient to use centimeter as the common unit. Then converting kilometer into centimeter is 1 kilometer has 1000 meters and 1 meter has 100 centimeters. So multiplying 30 kilometers by 1000 and then 100 gives the value in centimeters. So the ratio becomes 5:3 million. Then simplifying the ratio by dividing both the values by 5 gives 1:600,000. 4 hours and 15 minutes is to 3 hours and 30 minutes. So it is efficient to use minutes as the common unit. 1 hour as 60 minutes. 4 times 60 gives 240 minutes plus the 15 minutes equals 255 minutes. 3 hours times 60 equals 180 minutes plus the 30 minutes equals 210 minutes. The ratio becomes 255:210. Which can be simplified to 51:40 by dividing both the values by 5. Then again the simplified ratio can be further simplified to 17:14 by dividing both the values by 3. Application of ratios. Jack and Jill are to share the candies in the ratio 3:4. If there are 21 candies in total, how many candies does each of them get? So Jack is to Jill equals to 3:4. So the number of candies got can be found by multiplying the fraction that Jill got by the total number of candies, which is 4/7 times 21, which equals to 12 candies. Then Jack got 3/7 times 21, which equals to 9 candies. Harry and Sally got some pocket money from their mother and they were split it in the ratio 3:5. If Sally got $30, how much money in total did their mother give them? So the ratio for the amount of money that each got is 3:5, but the amount of money Sally got is $30. So the fraction that Sally got is 5/8. Consider the capital T as the total amount of money that their mother gave to both of them. Then simplifying the formula, T equals 30 times 8/5, where the total amount is $48. Now if we need to find the amount of money that Harry got by multiplying the portion of the amount by the total amount, we get $18. So the amount Harry has got is $18. So according to the question, the total money their mother gave them is $48.